Okay, so for the X-arch technique, you're going to start by using the spray adhesive on the foot, primarily on the bottom of it or the plantar surface. Then you're going to start by applying an anchor strip around the bottom of the foot, kind of where the ball of your toes are, and you're going to wrap that from the medial or the inside all the way to the outside of the foot. Then you're going to start with a 1-inch non-elastic tape starting at the bottom of the 5th toe or the little toe, wrapping from the inside to the outside. And then you are going to do the same thing from the base of the 1st toe or the big toe, wrapping in the opposite direction towards the outside of the foot first, and then pulling from the inside back out to the outside. And you can see that it makes that X. And then you're going to go from the 4th toe to the inside of the foot, coming around the outside of the foot, behind the heel, and connecting it to the bottom of the 2nd toe. And then you will do another strip from the bottom of the 2nd toe, going around the heel, back to the 4th toe. And then finally you are going to start on the 3rd toe, which is the middle, wrap it around the heel, and then go back to the 3rd toe, so it almost makes a teardrop shape. And then you are going to do the same motion but in the opposite direction. So again, starting at the 3rd toe, going around the outside behind the heel, back from the inside, and pulling up again to the 3rd toe. So then you are going to finish the taping technique by adding closing strips in the shape of a letter C from the outside of the foot near the pinky toe, and then pulling it inside towards the big toe. So you want to pull it this way to help establish the arch of the foot and to support it. So you're just going to overlap the tape by half, starting all the way by the toes and then moving closer towards the heel, just to close up all of your arch taping and to make sure that it stays. Okay, so for the donut pad technique, I'm going to start by using a 1/4 inch thick felt, and I will be cutting out a circle and then cutting out a hole in the middle just to make that donut shaped pad, which will fit right over the area of injury. Okay, so in this technique, I'm going to be placing a donut pad over the hamate bone in the hand. So I'm feeling around for the hook of hamate, which is a bony protrusion. Then I'm using a donut pad from a 1/4 inch thick felt, placing it right over the bone. And then I'm using Coverall, which is an elastic adhesive material, and I'm measuring it to the size to fit the hand. I'm just going to cut a piece that will cover the donut pad itself, plus extend onto the hand a little bit. And using this material allows for more movement of the hand, and it is less bulky than a full taping technique. So once I have my Coverall cut, I am going to place it directly over the donut and adhere it to the hand, and then you can always trim it a little bit more if you need to. You don't want it to be too large to get in the way of normal function. And then I'm going to peel back the rest of the adhesive and apply it to the hand. And you can see that now there is still full function. Okay, so to begin with the ankle wrapping technique, I'm going to start by the toes and wrap the elastic bandage around the bottom of the foot and then fold over the top corner to make a dog ear, and then roll the wrap over that again just to help it stay in place. Then I am going to grab a horseshoe shaped pad and put it around the outside of the ankle near the bony landmark that sticks out, which is called the lateral malleolus. Then I'm continuing to cover the wrap around it. And as you're wrapping it, you want to make almost an X pattern. So you are changing the angle of the wrap, and you can see that there is a diagonal X pattern that's forming on the front or the anterior surface of the ankle and the lower leg. So you want the wrap to be the tightest around the foot and the ankle, and then moving a little bit looser up the leg to help push some of the swelling out. And then you are going to finish it off with a clamp. Okay, so now for the closed basket weave, you want the foot all the way flexed up, and then you're going to spray it with some adhesive spray just to make the tape stick a little bit better. Then you're going to put a heel and lace pad on the front of the foot where the shoelaces would be, and then on the back of the heel just to help prevent any blisters or chafing. Then you're going to start with pre-wrap and wrap it around the leg. You want it to be snug but not too tight to where it's squeezing. And you want to cover all of the skin around the foot and the heel and the ankle, making sure that it doesn't roll while you're laying it flat. And then you're going to start by placing 2 anchor strips in circular motions around the leg, around that bottom of the calf muscle. You don't want them to be too tight, but you want them to be firm. And then you're also going to place an anchor strip around the foot, but you want to make sure that it is low enough to where it's not squeezing the arch or the toes. Then you're going to place a stirrup on the ankle, and you want to start it from the inside, which is medial, and then pull it to the lateral or the outside of the ankle to help give it some stability. Just make sure that the foot is fully flexed the entire time that you're taping it. And then you're going to do either a C-strip or a horseshoe, whatever you would like to call it. And again, you're going to start from the inside, which is the medial side, starting from that anchor on the foot, wrapping around behind the heel and sticking it to the anchor again. So then you're going to repeat those 2 same strips, doing the stirrup from inside to outside. And you want to make sure that your tape is overlapping by about half, and then securing it with a horseshoe / C-strip, and then you will repeat the motion one more time. So now to close off the basket weave pattern that you just did, you are going to make circular strips starting at the foot, going all the way around just to cover up your stirrups and your horseshoes. You just want to make sure that you are overlapping the tape again by half and moving all the way from the bottom up the leg just to help with any possible swelling or to push out any lymphatic fluid. And there you have the closed basket weave ankle taping technique. So now I'm going to add heel locks to my basket weave, starting from the front of the ankle, wrapping around behind the heel and then underneath and pulling back up to the top and the front of the ankle. So I'm going to do 2 from each direction. So that was the lateral or the outside direction, and now pulling from the medial, again behind the heel, underneath the arch, and back up to the front of the ankle. So you want to ensure that you're doing 2 heel locks from each direction just to ensure that the ankle is super stable and does not tend to roll in or out. So now I'm going to be adding the subtalar sling. So I'm starting the tape from the bottom of the big toe, wrapping around the outside of the ankle and behind the heel, and then finishing the tape in the front of the ankle. So for this technique, you want to use the elastic tape. And then I'm going to also add another strip starting from the base of the little pinky toe, wrapping around the inside behind the heel, and then back up to the front of the ankle again to provide extra stability to the subtalar joint in the ankle. So for the Achilles taping, you want the patient to be laying down on their stomach, and then you'll use the adhesive spray on the back of their lower leg and on the bottom of their foot. Then you will find the bottom of the calf muscle and place 2 strips of white tape around the leg to serve as anchor strips for your taping technique. Then you want to use the stretchy self-adherent tape or PowerFlex to wrap around the middle of the foot, around the arch. You want to use this kind of tape instead of white tape because it allows for more movement, and that will serve as your anchor on the bottom. Then I am placing 2 foam pads on top of the Achilles tendon just to protect it and to allow the tape to move without sticking to the skin. So then I'm going to use a 3-inch elastic tape and placing the foot in a slightly dorsiflex position, which means that the toes are pointed down just a little bit. So I'm going to measure the strip first from the bottom of the foot up into the calf anchor strips, and then I will cut a piece just long enough, stick it on the bottom of the foot, and then again pulling their foot into that plantar flexion or pointing their foot, and then stretching the tape up to the anchor strips on the leg. Then I'm going to do almost the same thing with another strip of the 3-inch elastic tape, this time measuring it just a little bit longer than the first one. However, with this strip, I will be making a cut down the center of the tape long ways, and then when I apply it to the leg, I will be ripping it in half just a little bit more, and then securing the 2 strips at the top around the leg. Finally, I will be using the exact same technique as the second strip, and again measuring this just a little bit longer, and then I will cut the strip down the middle, split it into 2, and wrap it around the leg, just slightly overlapping the second strip. And now to finish off the taping technique, I will go back with the white tape and just make circular strips around the top of the elastic tape just to help it stick and to seal it and prevent it from moving down the leg or coming undone. And then again, I will take the PowerFlex, wrap it around the middle of the foot, and secure that tape on the bottom. And here you can see the springy motion of the Achilles taping technique. Okay, so this technique is called the thumb spica. I'm going to start with applying a stretchy self-adherent wrap, also called PowerFlex, around the wrist just to protect the skin, and then also to provide an anchor for the rest of the tape to stick to and stay in place. So I want the hand in a somewhat extended and abducted position. So you want the thumb away from the other fingers a little bit, almost as if you're holding like a glass of water or a soda can. So then I'm going to cut off a strip of 1-inch elastic tape and wrap it around the base of the thumb. And then you're going to make an X pattern that crosses right there at the thumb joint, which is also called the first carpometacarpal joint. So then I'm going to cut another strip of the same tape and do the same exact motion, except I'm going to move it up the thumb a little bit so that the tape overlaps, and then again wrap the other ends around the wrist just for extra stabilization. And then finally, I'm going to place a third strip of tape even higher up on the thumb, again overlapping it with the previous tapes, and then wrapping it around the wrist. And then I'm going to finish off the tape using 1.5-inch non-elastic white tape and just doing 2 circular strips around the wrist to help the thumb strips stay in place and be supportive.